So I'll just chat away, shall I?
You chat away.
So Marshawn LLoyd, for me, we stuck him in here because we just looked at the running back list and he was basically just up there on the list. And with the depth situation with the Packers, you got Josh Jacobs, who he had that monster year, had a really down year last year. I think he'll have a bounce back year with the Packers just because of how they like to use their running backs. AJ Dillon's at the moment in the depth chart as the second running back, but I could see Marshawn LLoyd surpassing him by the time the season starts, just because they got AJ Dillon pretty much on bottom money. Like, they just got him back because he knows it. I think he knows the system, and just in case Marshawn LLoyd didn't come to fruition, I think they just got him there. But you look at his measurables and stuff, he looks good on tape. Some of the stuff he does on tape looks good, but his measurables, like a 4.46 at the 40, that's decent. You can see it on the tape here. He looks a lot bigger than 5'9", 220. Yeah. He does look like a bigger body when you watch him on tape. But yeah, for me, I'd be very surprised if people are fighting over him in fantasy. That's my biggest thing with this guy.
He is definitely going to be available on the waiver wire in week 1. I mean, very few people are going to save a roster spot for the third down run or the third string running back out of Green Bay. I mean, yeah. It is interesting that they drafted him in the 3rd round. So that tells me that they do see some future production from the guy. So he might be, if you're in a keeper, a dynasty league, he might be interesting to keep on your flex team. But in the OrkneyBowl, I don't see a reason to have him on the roster at this point. However, he comes out of a good school. He honorable mention All Pac-12. He had good production at 7.1 yards a carry. So he's explosive when he hits the line of scrimmage. And he did transfer from South Carolina to USC his senior year, and his production did jump quite a bit. But he was injured his freshman year with an ACL tear, so that could have impacted his sophomore season. But
possibly,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, it's a hard one because as well that USC team last year was quite explosive with Caleb Williams and stuff like that. So, but then it's a weird one because in a way he's kind of gone to the perfect team, what kind of represents what he had in his last year in college. So that's why I think I will say that I do think he will take AJ Dillon's place as the second.
Yeah.
Like, because if you look at their depth chart, they've got that Emmanuel Wilson who looked all right when he got touches. Like, you could see AJ Dillon being a non-factor by the end of it. Like, so I definitely think he'll be RB2. Now,
okay, yeah, I can see that actually.
Again, with the return points you can get on special teams, because of his burst and his quickness, and one of his main attributes is breaking tackles. Like we said, I don't think he's one you're fighting over. If he gets taken, I'd be very surprised, unless you're a Packers fan, you're kicking the table going, oh, fuck's sake, I've lost Marshawn LLoyd. Like, I don't think you're like jumping high for him or whatever. But very back of the draft, if he's there and you're happy with your team, why not? Why not? Because he's got that return value. And if he does become RB2 by the start of the year, Josh Jacobs shown like down, like last year, it wasn't a great year for him. Might have just been factors or whatever. Was he a bit banged up last year as well? But when it comes to the Orkney and drafting and stuff like that, yeah, I'd be very surprised if he isn't, like you said, either on the waiver wire or one of a flyer at the very, very back end rounds. Like
Luke with the crack.
No doubt.
Well, you never know.
Man.
You never know. That's the thing about the running backs. Every year there's a surprise that comes out of nowhere that surprises people. And, we had Kyron Williams last year, Damian Pierce the year before.
Well, the funny thing with Kyron Williams, he tested badly. What really hurt his stock. Did he pick an injury up? But really, from everything I read and was listening to when people spoke about him, it wasn't really that much of a shock that he did what he did, because the potential was always there. But then he ran like a really, really bad 40, what like murdered him. But you are right. I feel like this draft as well. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk. We're going to look at some dark horses, and I feel like there's some running back names a bit further down in like we always say. We always look at it from positional value for our fantasy points, who are in better positions than some like a Marshawn LLoyd, for example. As we speak right now, before training camp and all these things happen, and we get a clearer picture of things, you can look at it and go, well, he's probably in a better position than that guy. That might be personal bias, but that's what dark horses are about, aren't we? We'll get Johnny in on that one as well, because I know he's got a couple of dark horse rookies he likes to look at. Don't tell everyone. Don't tell everyone, Kelly. Leave more guessing.
The dog agrees.